You're listening to the Rebel Scum podcast.
You are always scum.
Rebel Scum.
From odds making to list rankings, we've got you covered. And don't forget to join us on Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
James, have you been watching any Star Wars in your isolation?
Yes, I have, yeah.
What have you watched?
The Rise of Skywalker. Troz! Also the Legacy of Skywalker documentary. And all the special features.
I've been watching Love is Blind on Netflix.
Oh, good God.
Aaron watched white noise in the background.
Aaron watched
Those
that.
people are insane. It's something else, because spoilers, some of them don't make it to the end. There's something else watching people say I don't at the end, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, I can't. But once you start, you gotta keep going. I'm almost done. But I want to go back so I can or get done so I can continue to watch Rebels. Excellent show. If you're not rewatching it, what is wrong with you? I hope you're working because it's a great show.
I hope they're not
rewatch.
watching Love is Blind over Rebels. I had to sit through a little bit of Love is Blind, Brock.
I mean,
I walked away.
It would make Kanan's situation in season 3 a lot more interesting.
Ouch.
You just watch scenes with Hera and Kanan over with the audio of Love is Blind over time. I've never dated a Twi'lek. Anyways, this is the Rebel Scum podcast. I'm Brock.
I'm James.
And this is where we talk about Star Wars
For the 162nd time.
Yeah.
And now, the last year or so, we've been doing it over Skype, but now we legitimately have to do it over Skype. Now there's no... Remember like a week ago when you're like, Andrew, you could come over and record if you want. Now it's like... it's not
they were like, should we do this?
Now it's not even... And I just coughed and now the world is shut down. They're like, why did he cough? It was a clearing my throat cough, not anything else.
Spoilers. The world's already shut down.
The world is completely and utterly shut down. But we hope everybody out there is safe. We're trying to give you guys all as much content as humanly possible on our end. Even when we run out of things to talk about, it's just, I think right now we're all in this situation, Brock, where we're, for the good of, mankind, we're staying indoors to let this virus kind of run its course and pass through the ones that it's in and disintegrate. So we're just trying to do a small part here where we're going to bring you guys content with live chats where we can all get together and talk while we're all stuck indoors being isolated. Because I think one thing that we can't forget is human interaction is still very important. And even though we're not face to face, the chats are still a lot of fun. So thank you everybody for being there. It really means a lot to us. And we hope that you enjoy it. And even if you're not on the chat, you just have it on, just anything to keep everybody inside. It just is really important to us. And we really hope everybody's doing well right now out there in the universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also watch Rebels.
But we have to talk about this stupid virus as much as possible because it's consuming our lives, basically. I mean, it's changing everything. But also, we're here to talk Star Wars and hopefully be a little bit entertaining and distract everybody a little bit from the plexiglass that's dividing human races right now, human nature. It's crazy. So let's talk some Star Wars, Brock. 162 episodes.
Wow.
How many have you watched? 7?
I live them. I don't need to rewatch.
I haven't rewatched one since I think we were at Celebration. I think so.
We Aaron. We were having a group chat the other night because our friend Daryl, it was his birthday.
Yeah.
And Aaron said, "Oh, did you watch the Scavenger Scum with your nieces and nephew?" I'm like, I don't watch anything that I'm not in.
But you were in that episode, actually. You were in both of those.
Yeah,
and
but still, I don't really watch anything we make.
Yeah, you were actually you were a big part of one of them. You and Andrew do a whole review on the new season of the Clone Wars.
Right.
Cloning Around is available for everybody on Patreon right now. Also, for all of our Patreon subscribers, basically everything is going to be available for all Patreon subscribers, and we're going to do some Patreon live chats as well. Yep. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a lot of fun doing this. Also, here, the contest we ran during all live streams last week. Well, the winner will be announced tomorrow on Scavenger Scum, 7 p.m. You don't want to miss that. You might be called. Also, a new contest coming up, partnership, possibly for a t-shirt, Brock. And we're going to announce that tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun. Also, we're just, like I said, we're just trying to do stuff. But we're going to talk Star Wars. And like I said, I've been watching a lot of Rise of Skywalker. Brock, I'm guessing when they release it on Disney Plus, probably by tomorrow, whenever it's going to be released early though. When they release on Disney Plus, are you going to go out of your way to watch it?
I think so. I'm really excited about these releases of new movies that would be in theaters. So I'm all in. Mm-hmm. I appreciate what they're doing. So even if it's one I don't necessarily was going to go see in theaters, I'm like, maybe I'll watch it. Yeah. Very excited for Onward. So yeah, Onward.
I'm really excited for Invisible Man as well. And I watched. Last week I watched Rise of Skywalker about 7 or 8 times. Not all because I wanted to. I mean, I did, and I watched it again. We're recording this on Monday. Spoilers, but I watched it last night also again. I know, and I don't want anybody to argue about. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine. If you like it, that's fine. But for me, I just have so much fun watching it, and right now it is such. For me, a pleasant distraction from everything else, and I could just sit back and watch it. I also said on the live stream, on Monday's lunchtime live stream, I watched The Legend of the Three Caballeros because I think it's Donald Duck, and I just was like, I don't feel like being an adult right now. I'm gonna throw on a cartoon and enjoy this, and it's great. And then I got to watch it with my nieces and nephew, and like I said before, it was infectious how much they enjoyed it. They were playing along. Like we went out for a walk and they grabbed sticks and were using them as lightsabers. And they were Rey and Kylo and Finn. And it was just awesome to see and fun. And really, those kind of movies, that's what they're made for.
How did they like Babu Frick? That's always like something I could never...
They laughed, but it wasn't... Yeah, it wasn't Adobe just sent me our commitment to you for COVID-19. I just got that message from Adobe. You know what, Babu? Their reaction to Babu was underwhelming. Right. Because there were certain points in the movie where I looked at them. Right, like I was like, okay, how are you gonna react? And Babu didn't get much of a reaction from them. They loved my 7-year-old niece when Rey died. But then when Ben brings her back, I should say, that's her favorite part of the movie. And I asked her, like, for 4 days after that, I said, what's your favorite part? She goes, when Rey came back. And I was like, why? Because she was dead and now she's not. I was like, all right, that's fair. But that was her favorite, like, huge reaction. Rey Palpatine was the biggest excitement reaction from all of them. They were blown away by it. It was that kind of, for me, was kind of cool to see how they were like, what? Like that, like just completely mesmerized by her being the daughter of the electric guy. They fly now. Not the verbiage. It wasn't when they said let's fly now. It was the fact that they were flying. They got a kick out of that. There was some cheering going on. What else was there? They didn't, no laughter for 3PO. Those jokes went right over their head. But it was just, but yeah, there was moments. What else? The snake in the sand dunes. That guy. They're like, whoa, what? Like that. The Jedi mind trick she performs got a huge one. And I think and Kylo and the Knights of Ren, my nephew really, or Ben and the Knights of Ren, my nephew really loved that. And Dark Rey was, so before we watched it, we recorded a Scavenger Scum because they actually really wanted to, and they saw my Dark Rey Funko, and none of them really were, and they understood why. They're like, what was it? Dark Side Rey? Why is Rey bad? Well, and they were so like into that. And then when Dark Rey happened, they're like, there she is! Oh my god! So they were really, I think it was for them, Dark Rey was just enough. Like it was like, it was enough for them to still like Rey and understand that she wasn't actually bad.
Yeah.
Watch it with
I'm excited to watch that movie. So
it's fun. It is. It's just fun. I want to watch. I actually kind of want to sit down now that I have time and watch all 9 of them in a row.
Yeah.
Just.
I think I said to you on one of the myriad other pieces of content that we made last week that now that we have time, I'm like, I think I'm just gonna watch every single piece of Star Wars content on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Even the Lego stuff. Like, just watch it. It's totally attainable now. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think with Patreon we'll be doing some live watchings of the Droids animated series and Ewoks as well. We can have some fun chat-alongs. Also, live streams coming up. We're going to offer Patrons are going to get a link to the live streams so they can join us on the lunchtime live streams and have some fun talking Star Wars with us. Because again, that's what this, we are having fun. It's Star Wars. It's escapism at its finest, is what I like to say.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
One thing I really want to talk about too. Oh yeah, patreon.com/Rebelscom podcast, but whatever. One thing I want to talk about. Greg Grunberg was interviewed by The Hollywood Reporter, and they asked him all these questions about coming back to Star Wars, and I think this is like a new interview, like recent. Like it wasn't something they did like a month ago, and now they're releasing it. It's like because he's like, we have time, let's do this. And did you get a chance to read it, Brock?
No, I read like little blurbs and other stuff because I was reading the article where he's talking about, or reading a part of it where he's talking about Carrie Fisher. I believe that's the same interview. So
yeah,
but no, I didn't read it because I wanted to be surprised.
Well, I'm not going to read it, but I'll give point forms. I'm going to paraphrase here, but they ask him about J.J. Abrams and the feud J.J. had with RJ, with Rian Johnson, and how Abrams didn't like The Last Jedi and all that stuff. And Grunberg comes out and he says that he was oblivious to that. He's like, that never came out. He says that J.J. Abrams loves Rian Johnson and loves what he did. That could be a lie. This could be, somebody sticking up for his friend and whatnot. But I think it's, and on Twitter and social media now, people are like, who cares what he has to say? Greg Grunberg, blah, nobody cares. Okay, but I think we also have to remember that these are 3 separate movies created by 2 different people with different creative styles, to say the least. I love Looper to death, and I love Super 8, but when you compare those 2, they're not the same at all. You know what I mean? Like, these are different filmmakers doing different stories with different takes on things, and I think even if Rian Johnson didn't like some of the choices made in Force Awakens, and J.J. Abrams didn't like some of the choices made in Last Jedi, I think they both respected what the other one did.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't want those 2 guys to be the same anyways.
No.
Like, I like J.J. Abrams' style, and I like Rian Johnson's style. So, and like, Grunberg could totally sit in the JJ camp. He wasn't in the second one, so
he says he actually does point out. He says he was hoping to get the call for 8. It never happened. So he goes, so if I ever wanted to shoot him down, I easily could. Like he kind of takes a jab in that. Yeah. Like if he's like, there's no love lost, basically is what he's saying. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not doing it to stick up for Rian Johnson or anyone. So he does actually say that. Just to your point.
Yeah, no, yeah. So it's just like he doesn't have to say anything. Nobody's paying him to. I think he's just looking at how people are reacting. Yeah. And be like you know, I don't think he's trying to fight. I think you said this. He's not trying to say, "Oh, you should like these movies." He's just saying there's like none of that like existed, and if it is, then that's all internal. It's not like it's some cover up of some sort. Like they were making movies. They weren't. There wasn't hate; it was love for Star Wars, which straight up.
I think the other thing too is this Colin Trevorrow script that comes out. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, it connects to Last Jedi a lot better," and I think, and I don't like that phrase, and I don't like when people are like, "Oh, that should have been 9," because first of all, you don't know how it would have turned out. State of emergency announced in Ontario. All non-essential are ordered to close, Brock. Just got that in. So, okay. Anyway, what was I saying? I lost complete train of thought due to state of emergency.
You were talking about, I don't even know. We were talking about J.J. Abrams. I don't know. You completely train wrecked.
Completely derailed on that thought. My point was controversial script. That people are like, this should be episode 8 and blah blah blah. We don't know. First of all, we don't know what it would have looked like. But also, I believe, and this could just be me, but I thought that Rise of Skywalker did connect to The Last Jedi. Maybe. There's a missed opportunity in Force Ghost Luke and a few other missed opportunities. But the script that he was making, the script that they did, the story that they were telling, didn't call for that. There was no need for Force Ghost Luke in that. Just like in Last Jedi, there's no need, there's no calling for the Knights of Ren, right? So you have to look at it from the perspective. And I think when you for me, I think they do connect very well. They are different, but they're different like Empire and Return of the Jedi to me. Like they're different, but they still feel connected. And I think even though people think that the Duel of the Fates script connected even more and felt more like a real sequel, I just think this was J.J. Abrams' sequel to The Last Jedi. And I think people, you have to switch your mindset to see that the guy who made The Force Awakens was making a sequel to The Last Jedi, not the guy that made The Last Jedi was making a sequel to The Last Jedi. So Last Jedi felt like it feels different from Force Awakens, whereas The Rise of Skywalker feels a bit different from Last Jedi. But that's just the way that these are going, and I do feel like they hit. And yes, there are little things like the Force Ghost Luke, and maybe Rose wasn't used as much, but I still feel like it hit what it needed to, and it told the story, and it put this whole thing to bed. And you don't have to agree with all the decisions that were made, but I still think that it fits in the Star Wars mythology.
Yeah, sure. Like it is what it is, and you could say, oh, they could have done this. It's like there were so many ideas in the last 40 years for Star Wars scripts. Like things change. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work out the way you want it to. Like now it's like, and how do we know we would like the Colin Trevorrow thing? We're just like, oh, that he had, like, we see a script and that had a couple of good ideas. How do we know that would translate to a film? You don't know if it's going to be good. You don't like these. It's like you can crap on Rian Johnson all you want, but then like, did you like Knives Out? Because that did really, really well this year. So he's set. So it doesn't matter if you like or dislike The Last Jedi. He's still proving himself as a director. So he's a great director. Let's go to Never Tell Me the Odds. Never Tell Me the Odds, brought to us by our wonderful Patreon. Thank you for all of your support. Means a lot to us. And they are executive producer Heidi Feder, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Mary Kristen Athen, Jeff Wilson, Aaron Quinton, Al Schuler, Phil Staniforth, Janet Rubio, Rachel Alford, Austin Schur, Scott D, Andy Higgins, Josh Price, Mason Hope, Matt W, Rez Rural, Farm Boy, Frank Perkins, Sooner Thrawn, Neil Lowry, D Raven Spencer, Gleek Play 1, Kayla Davis, Automated Joy, Charlotte, Mariah Weekland, Jericho Kane, Four Leaf Clover, Girls with Several Sabers. They have a few. I don't know if they have one each. They might have more than one each. We don't know. And Josh at the Den of Nerds. Actually, you know what? It just says it's just Den of Nerds, so we'll say it's Ken, the social media guru who posts a lot of great memes. I like him. Josh, I could take him or leave him. He's like, hey, can you come on a live stream? I'm like, I have a 9 to 5, Josh. I have a 9 to 5. Stop it. But Josh was kind enough to send a video for our morning show, so that's awesome of him. And so were Girls with Sabers. Actually, a lot of people did. But anyways, today's odds are thank you, Patreon, for all of your support. Also, shout out to there's a few, but I know Heidi and Andy specifically. They work in essentials, so they have to still work to bring us what we need to survive at these times. So special thanks to them and to any of you out there listening who do work, obviously the doctors and nurses and medical staffs, but the grocers, the grocery store employees and mail and railroad and anything that's open, liquor store, God bless you. Just seriously though,
thank you for everything. Because we're trapped inside, and when we go out, you're the only people we can turn to, and we rely heavily on you right now. So thank you for everything.
Yeah, stay safe. Thank you.
Yeah,
you're doing the Lord's work.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Pharmacists as well.
Yeah.
Even though they won't look me in the eye. It's like I get it. This is weird. It's like I Am Legend outside. Here we go. The odds. First off, the odds of Ahsoka getting her own series on Disney Plus in live action. A live action Ahsoka series. We talked about this a bit on the live stream on Monday. Will she get her own series?
I think it's inevitable as long as the character does well, but I can't see it not doing well. Like The Mandalorian is just firing on all cylinders, so I'm going to go 100%. They want to do these offshoots. Yeah. It makes sense.
Can we just, if it is Rosario Dawson, what a career she has had. Like, if you think about it, what is she, B or C list? I don't think she's A list.
I would say B list.
Yeah, she's pretty high, but she's not like, I don't know if your parents would know who she is. I think they would recognize her face, but I think name recognition, right? But she shows up in everything. Fantastic career, fantastic actress. I really think she's great. I'm going to go 87%. I say, like, why not? If she's going to do it, she's a nerd at heart, first of all. I think, she's established. She wanted to play this character. So if it is her doing it, just milk it. Milk her in this role for as long as possible. We're all game for it. I mean, right now we all have time for it as well. So maybe she could shoot it. Maybe she could shoot it. If she could put green on her face or whatever, she could shoot it at home on a webcam, send it to somebody at Lucasfilm who's at home with the technology, and they could do like a home video of Ahsoka, like cooking Ahsoka tea or something. I don't know.
A shock tea.
That's our first odd. Our second odd, the odds of Mandalorian season 2 being released early. I know a lot of people are saying they should release it now. Well, they just finished shooting, so it won't be ready now. But do you think let's say if this goes until August, Brock, and Star Wars Celebration is in flux and they're like, we're not going to do it. Do you think there's a possibility we could get Mandalorian season 2 early?
The only reason I want it early. Don't get me. 100% I want it early. But my issue with it is it comes out in October. That's when it was going to come out. So I don't want to think the problem that like it's like this is an issue till October. So let's go. Like if it's sort of maybe it would be great. Get it once it's done as a gift of us getting out of this problem, right? So it's just like. Well, really don't want to think about how long this might take.
Here's the problem, though. We're not the only ones being isolated.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those editors aren't going to be in a room with other editors. Like, right. So that you could, theoretically, an editor could edit, send it to Favreau, Filoni, Kennedy, and all that. Theoretically, it could be done. But also, I don't know. I'm going to go 37%. I mean, it would be great to get it early. I just think there's a reason why it was coming out in October to begin with. If anything, it might get delayed if you think about it. So I don't rush it. Do what you got to do with it. Make it the best you can. If you can give us some kind of treat, give us a treat. Maybe they do. Maybe too bad. They could do a Rebels din and give us like that was a Siege of Lothal movie in June. Remember that? Like, give us something a little bit early, maybe the first episode a month earlier. So, but then then the problem with that was you were waiting 4 months for the return of the show. It's like, what? You just wet my taste buds. So, I'm gonna go. I'm going low.
But I guess I agree with you. Like 25% look good early.
Yeah, I gotta go low on it. All right, our final odd today. The odds.
Do I want it? I want it right now. But...
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Now that you're unfrozen from the timeline, the final line: the odds of a Clone Wars sequel series, something that looks and feels like a distinct sequel to the Clone Wars, not like Rebels is kind of a sequel to the Clone Wars, like literally, like they're like, all right, let's go see what happened with character X, and move on from there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like Would I want it? Yes, but I don't know what it would be because it couldn't even do like an Ahsoka thing because we're getting that right now, and then we know roughly what happened. Like if you read the Ahsoka book, I believe that fills a lot of that gap. And then like she pops up in Rebels. I don't know what you would do exactly. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe something like post Revenge of the Sith. Like,
Yeah,
it's not really the Clone Wars, right? Because once Order 66 is up, but maybe
well,
maybe some kind of
it could be that could be the sequel to the Clone Wars would be Order 66 or something.
sort of like do what they were doing in the Darth Vader book, where you see him trying to like get used to being Darth Vader and finding his own lightsaber or whatever, like hunting down Jedis. Maybe I don't know if we need that, but I just think I don't know with what there is to tell, so I'm gonna go 25% on this one as well. Because if you made it, I would watch it.
Well, it could be like a Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
It could be like a Jedi Fallen Order where we follow a Jedi around being chased by things. I'm gonna go low though. I'm gonna go 22%. It's Clone Wars. It is the Clone Wars, right? Like pretty much everything afterwards is a sequel to it. So I think we're just gonna stop there.
I guess like once season 7 is over, what state we're in after that. I know it's supposed to just lead right into the movie, but like there's still stuff you could find out. I don't know. Maybe that'll change.
I would be more excited. We need something to bridge. I really wouldn't mind a Luke and Lando animated series, Clone Wars style.
Yes.
Looking for Oshi and going to Pisana. Like there's a lot going on there. So that I wouldn't mind seeing. Because then we could even get into how the First Order was stealing kids from the heroes of the New Republic, the Rebellion heroes, stuff like that. There's so much story to tell because they left so much of it on the table in the sequel trilogy. I just don't know why they're not embracing that yet. And I understand that before it was because, clearly there was no plan and they didn't know how to embrace it, but now it's all done. It's done. We know how it all ends. So fill in those gaps and fill them out on Disney Plus. Stop it with the comics. The comic, no offense to comics, they're great, but you're going to reach more people on Disney Plus. Or take the Rise of Kylo Ren comic and expand on it as a Disney Plus series. Do that because I just feel like there's so many missed opportunities right now. Marvel is embracing this Disney Plus. Star Wars right now is Mandalorian and Clone Wars season 7.
It's more likely to see some new Marvel series come up early than I think Clone or Mandalorian. Going back to that other odd because like we're supposed to get stuff in June. Maybe we get it early. Can I get some WandaVision up in here? Oh, I am psyched for that.
I don't know. Wasn't WandaVision supposed to come in like December or?
No, I think it was in
November.
I could be wrong. They didn't give concrete dates. That was the thing.
Well, because they don't know, right? They're like, we're just making it. Hold on, WandaVision. WandaVision, December 2020.
Oh shit! Excuse me.
Oh, hello, kids.
Well, was it Cap and Falcon and Winter Soldier that was supposed to come out in the summer?
No, I feel
like there was something in summer.
Falcon and Winter Soldier 2020. There's no Well, that was one of the first things to go on hold from production.
Oh, okay.
That was one of the things that they stopped immediately. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, at the same time, you can't Shang-Chi is on hold. You can't complain, man. It is what it is. Black Widow. I don't think they're gonna put that on Disney Plus. I think they're gonna wait like a year for that. Like Fast 9. Fast 9 was like, well, we're not coming out in May. We're coming out in 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, Fast Dog. Hey, good on them to, it's the big summer movie. They want people to be in good spirits. It's Fast and Furious. It's not the end of the world. We'll all survive another year without seeing that movie. Maybe.
Yeah.
Toretto family. I need a Corona. I sound more like Christian Bale's Batman than I do Vin Diesel. Brock, do you want?
I'm not wearing hockey pants.
I'm not wearing hockey pants in my car.
It's that time of the show, James.
Holland
shut up and I talk.
Yeah, but before I shut up, I get to do something cool.
Yeah.
Hollow news. Da, 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 hollow news. Okay, go.
Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. As we were talking about, Troz, the Rise of Skywalker. You can now watch it on digital and hopefully soon on Disney Plus. But here's a possible Easter egg that you might not know about. Apparently, in the original shooting, they did a shout out, a homage to that of Jim Henson's The Labyrinth by placing the character of Ludo in one of the scenes, just in the background. But apparently, he's been pretty much completely cut from the movie. But there is an odd that he might be in the bar scene on Kajimi. So look out for him. He is the Chewbacca of the Labyrinth world. But obviously has a connection with the original movies because Henson made a lot of the puppets, and the Labyrinth is by Jim Henson. Neil Scanlon, the VX artist, he's the one that revealed this, saying that, to my knowledge, he didn't make the movie. He may be in the Kajimi momentarily. If he is, some fan might pick up on it and say, oh, that looks like Ludo. And they're right. He was envisaged the same way and performed exactly the same way as puppets and costumes in the Star Wars era. So it's cool. And he says the Ludo costume always looked good, and I think it's one of my favorite parts of the Labyrinth. So check it out, and if you spot it, please let us know. Also, this week or last Friday, Ahsoka made her return to Clone Wars in Episode 4, where we find out she's been living in the slums of Coruscant since leaving the Jedi Order. So and if you've watched any of the trailers, you've seen a lot of the clips of this. But there's another Easter egg in this where when she's running, which she does a lot in the episode, if you look in the crowd, there's one moment where there is a Rodian, an Ithorian, and an Aqualish standing together and dressed in a particular way, which is an homage to the original action figures in the Kenner action figures, where, like, I believe the Rodian is an all green, the Thorian's in blue, and the Aqualish is in an orange vest. I might have that twisted around, but they are animated to look similar, at least in style, to their original action figures, which are now, if you have a version of that, you've got a real collector's items on your hand. So check that out. I know I'm going to rewatch it and look for it. And in final news, since you're home and you got nothing going on, check out the Twitter feeds for the writers of Zombieland. I, of course, did not write them down. Wernick and his co-writer Reese, they posted the script that originally was meant for Mark Hamill to be in Zombieland instead of Bill Murray. As we all know, that's one of the best scenes in that movie, where Bill Murray is alive and well in the zombie apocalypse. Originally, it was supposed to be Mark Hamill at one point. So they've posted that script, and the whole idea is they go in, it's a house full of Star Wars memorabilia. It's really fun and all that. So it's an interesting take. But yeah, this has been your Hollow News.
Hollow News. That's the outro song. People haven't heard that before because it doesn't exist. I know we're knocking beds. Top 5.
Top 5. What's on the menu for top 5 today, James?
Top 5 character. I don't remember, Brock. I am so in a daze. It's top 5 underrated Star Wars characters. This should be a lot of fun. I'm trying to find my graphic.
Now, what do you mean by that? Like the ones that don't get enough screen time, or just don't have enough fan love?
I don't know. Whatever you would think is underrated. Like, it can't be Luke Skywalker. You know, like. Hold on. Let me just.
What about Luke Skykiller?
Okay. I just changed my top 5 quickly. I was like, bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it could be that. It could be Star Killer from Force Unleashed. Characters that, when you say Star Wars, aren't the first characters you think of, basically. Further down the list, you know?
Right. Okay.
Things like that. Yeah. Should be a lot of fun. This is a quick podcast. We should milk it. Let's just go silent for a bit and hope everybody stays Guys, let us know what your top 5 underrated Star Wars characters are in the comments below. We'd love to hear those because it's fun to do. All right, Brock, my number 5 is this little guy with 4 arms named Rio Durant.
Ooh.
I liked Rio. He died, though,
Yeah.
so he's dead. Actually, hold on.
Dead, Daryl.
1, 2, 3 of my 5 are dead.
Yeah, my number 5 is going to be Dr. Aphra. I think it's a character that needs to be in more stuff. Check out our live stream from Monday. I went full stan on Dr. Aphra. That's what the kids say, Mr. James. They stan it.
I still don't like. That's the thing I don't get about Stan is like an Eminem reference from like 2000 or 99.
From when we were a teenager.
Yeah, like how? Okay, we didn't even call it that.
No, exactly. What's your number 4?
Number 4, the only one that matters. Bail Organa.
Ooh, yes. We've talked about this before.
Bail's great. Should be higher on my list, actually. But Bail is my number 4. Love Bail Organa. Jimmy Smits, Phil Lamar, all representing Bail Organa. Fantastic when Jimmy Smits appeared on...
Phil Lamar.
Yeah, fantastic when Jimmy Smits appeared on Rogue One. It was a great add to that. And then he's like... He mentions how he's going to send a message to his friend, the Jedi. And basically that sealed his fate and his daughter's fate.
My number 4 is going to be Admiral Akbar because I just love everything about that character. It's grown so much alone in the last 10 years. We see Admiral Raddus. We see his son Atbar. No, I don't think it's Atbar. It's Acto. I should know this because they put him in the comic book plus the movie. You see his son, and then there's a lot of in the last few years with comics, they did like a lot of mentioning of Mon Cala and their king that gets imprisoned by Vader and then saved later by Luke and Han and Leia. So it's like, ooh. And he's also in the Clone Wars. So like, I would love to see more of Mon Cala, I suppose, is really. But let's use Akbar as that.
Yeah, and Raddus was supposed to be Akbar, and then JJ nixed it because they thought it'd be too much Akbar. I think Raddus, I love Raddus. I think Raddus is a stronger character than Akbar. Maybe that's because Akbar is underrated, Brock. But I think if Raddus was Akbar, though, it would have made that character even stronger. You know, like
it's wild. A character that was just, oh, maybe we'll make him look like a fish.
Yeah, I know.
And then he'll say all these weird lines, and then to all our knowledge, we're like, that was a really funny character.
It's so true. Yeah. My number 3, we're on number 3, is Moloch from the Solo, a Star Wars story. Moloch, really thought he was a cool looking, or Lady Proxima. You pick you one or the other. I like them both. I'm huge fans of both of them.
Yeah, I think we should go back to Corellia. I think there's a lot of fun things you could do there.
Actually, Moloch reminds me of like a Thundercats character. I feel like Moloch would live in that world.
Yeah, like the mutants.
Yeah.
Thundercats is a wild series when you really boil it down. When you watch all the episodes, you're like, wow. My number 3 is going to be, oh God, I had it in my head. Why does this always happen? My number 3 is Enfys Nest, because I feel like we don't know enough about her, and Solo just left so much out in the open. It's like, wow, that's really cool. And I think you can do a coordination of her and Saw Gerrera or something like that, and maybe throw in a Mon Mothma, sort of like see this growing of the rebellion. Like, it was so interesting, that scene when she takes her helmet off, and you're like, who is that?
Yeah, she's not on my list, but yeah, I agree. Should have been on my list. Yeah. But I had to make room for my number 2, Ben Quaterneros. Fantastic character. I think here's the thing: people don't respect Ben Quaterneros, and so if Ben Quaterneros' pod was working, he would have won the pod race, and the Skywalker saga would cease to exist. So it is because of Ben Quaterneros that we have these movies. So you thank Ben Quaterneros before you go to bed tonight, everybody. You thank him.
Yeah.
Because without that screw up, without somebody sabotaging his pod, there would be no... Anakin would not have turned to Vader, and Luke and Leia would never be born, and Rey would never... I mean, there'd probably still be Rey, but she would be pure Empress Rey because she would have been raised by CVP. So...
She would be raised?
She'd be raised.
Raised.
I am the dark side. All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 is going to be... I had it in my head, then I got distracted by what you were saying.
It's Ben Quaterneros.
Obviously, I would love to put Poe Dameron, but he gets his time in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about someone similar to him early in the episode. Greg Grunberg snaps Wexley. Because I think a story about X-Wing pilots or just Rebel pilots would be really, really interesting. And take Poe out of it and put that, make it about where the rest of his squadron goes after Force Awakens or the beginning of Last Jedi, because in the comics they say they went off to go find other people, and that's why we don't see them. But yeah, you have a good squadron group of people there that are actual actors they have, so that are still active. Put them in there and give Greg Grunberg his time in the sun. So
good call on that one. There. My number 1, Quill. Look, without Quill's ability to repurpose IG-11, Baby Yoda would be in the clutches of Moff Gideon right now. Yeah. So you thank Quill. You thank Quill and Ben Quaterneros, because without them, your beloved saga would not exist. I love Quill. The actress that portrays the motion and Nick Nolte's voice, it's all great. Everything about Quill is fantastic. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah. To that I say, I have spoken. I don't know what voice that was. That was like Demon Quill.
It seems flawless too. It almost how did they get Nick Nolte in that tiny little character?
His presence is so big.
Yeah. I am going to go a little off the beaten path. Go to Rebels, one of my favorite shows. Harrison Dula.
Ooh.
Let's find out more.
Yeah.
They've grown a little bit more in the comics and in some of the YouTube cartoons. There's no reason why not to. And now she's at the end of Rebels, you see she's a mother. So talk about that.
She's a fantastic
Find
character.
out if her son is a Jedi as well or Force sensitive. I don't know. That'd be fun.
I would argue that Rebels has some of the most interesting Star Wars characters.
Yeah. I think even the one-off droids and stuff like that.
I was saying on a show recently, the Bendu is I want more Bendu in my life.
Yeah. I like Chopper. You can barely understand what he's saying but it's so interesting.
AP5.
Yeah, AP5. That's it.
He's great. It's so many good characters. But Hera is such a great character. And I see, as much as I think Ahsoka needs and deserves to be in live action, I think Hera does as well, because she's such a strong character that she's not going to get the recognition she deserves unless she makes that transition into live action. And her voice is in Rogue One. I think it's supposed to be Hera, but it's Vanessa Marshall's voice, so I think it's supposed to be Hera. The Ghost appears there as well, or is the Ghost in Ghost is in one of those movies, and it would be nice to get some live action Hera going on, because she. Like you said, she's definitely an underrated character because she lives in Rebels and not, a saga film or something.
Yeah. Perfect. You know what? I almost want to say BB-8 as well.
No. Well, you know what? BB-8's...
I love droids, though. I think they should think of a droid run show of some sort.
But bring back droids and add BB. I think BB-8's a weird character, because in The Force Awakens it's BB-8's gonna steal the spotlight, and BB-8 kind of does. And then Last Jedi, BB-8 has a few moments, and then BB-8's just brushed to the side in Rise of Skywalker, rightfully so, because 3PO gets the spotlight, so I was okay with that. But it's funny how I thought we would get more and more BB-8 and end up being less and less BB-8.
Yeah, I suppose. It just, they added too many freaking characters to that movie. Anyways, besides the point, we've talked to that ad nauseum, but
and I like all the new characters.
Yeah, sure. Except for
No, I like them all.
except for
Who don't you like?
Luke Skywalker.
Luke is the worst. Although his hair and his blue glow is pretty bad. Although I didn't find the blue glow as bad on the home copy. So either they trimmed it a bit, or I'm just so used to. I'm just like guessing he's going to be as blue as our board on the bottom here. There's like graphic.
How do they do that now? Is he green screened in later?
No,
Or
he's
is he
on set.
actually
He's on set. You
there?
see it on the behind the scenes. He's on set with her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like then they just do like an effect on him so
Yeah.
you can see through him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Wow, the magic of movies.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Don't forget, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast. That's iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all the shebang. And you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitters. We have a lot of fun talking Star Wars and doing things as they come. We also have a Patreon if you want to check us out there. But follow us on all the other things. Listen to us where you can. We're going to be doing Star Wars, talking Star Wars, cranking out as much Star Wars content as we can for the next little while to hang out with you guys, to give you guys, something to do while you're at home, doing that extra load of laundry that you normally wouldn't do while you were at work, cleaning the house, whatever. We want to be here for you during your self-isolation. We're going to have fun doing it, right, Brock?
You know it.
All right, this is episode 162 of the Rebel Scum podcast. He's Brock, I'm James. And the other thing about him that you might not know is that he was always scum.
Rebel Scum.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.